This is Love Herself, Sarah Darlene, and this is part 55. This time, as I'm speaking on this subject of the Exodus, at this section here, Yahweh himself will be in and out, saying some things to me, and that I will repeat, for you all say, so you can know what he's, when he will say something that I will repeat. Okay, so I left off at I was speaking of back in Miami. Meanwhile, back in Miami, on part 54, Florida's Zion, where the Florida police were on the trail of a killer who had recently been released back into society and had made his way into Florida to settle down. He had family there and wanted to join them, and so they let him be their room and board. And so then this is when he meets up with Adam Ben Yahweh, and he took an interest. So he took the name Neriah Yisrael and wanted to change his life. And since no one there knew of his past, he felt safe and grew comfortable with them. Okay, he learned the Hebrew prayer, changed his garment for white robes and turban, and went here and there with them. When he heard about the first murder that Adam Ben Yahweh was accused of, he felt sad and wanted to go after the liars. He had befriended the leader, Adam Ben Yahweh, under the father of God Yahweh, and took it personal. He took it personal, thinking that one of their own would do such a thing. I'm speaking of the individual named Robert Ramses. He was forgetting that he'd stabbed several victims of his own who had gotten on his nerves, but without looking back to check and see if they were alive or dead. He was so angry till it didn't matter at the time. Me and Father Yahweh witnessed this young man's behavior. We traveled together sometimes, me and Yahweh. Anyway, so this young man, he's responsible for 3 lives gone from the earth. So anyway, so he meets Adam Ben Yahweh, actually his brother, who everyone is related to since he's the first son ever, back when there was no children in the world yet. So anyway, how does the newcomer, who's called Lion Robert, how does he relate to the story of Exodus? Well, if you listen to some of our earlier tapes, you would know. So, in case you haven't, in God Yahweh's Torah, he wrote of the future of a son who would come to Florida named, eventually, Ramsey. So I'll say briefly why, for the new listeners in the Exodus story, okay, that there is a character named Pharaoh Ramses. Well, this newcomer in Florida I speak of, he now goes by that name, Robert Ramses. Anyway, the new last name was chosen by him under the Witness Protection Program. But before taking on the new last name, Florida police, the policemen, they began summoning new victims to their cars, to their police cars, and driving off away from the city lights to kill the ones that they would choose. So as the total number of victims grew to the cops' desire, their plan, they added the killings that Lion Robert had done to their list. And so they began getting public media assistance to broadcast the lies through TV and over radio. Meanwhile, the father, God Yahweh, and son Adam Ben Yahweh began investing in more and more property. They needed to have a city to welcome believers since they were such outcasts elsewhere, the believers. So at one time, just recently, blacks in Florida were only allowed inside the Overtown city border limits, the borderline. They couldn't be caught outside the city of Overtown, or else they had to stay in Color Town, is what they were calling it, city limits, as recent as the early 1900s. So the Lord Yahweh, the Father, with the Son, moved into Florida personally to make a change. And so the integration began. The Lord Yahweh opened up every district to the poorest families to come out of Overtown. Well, they can stay in there too, but they were welcome all over his globe. He was getting tished. And so now God's name, the Lord's name, because of it, became popular. So he's a freedom fighter. They would call him Yahweh, the black people's God. Practically everyone knew the name Yahweh compared to other states in America who would say Yahoo, you bastards. That's how hidden away God's name was, though, in America. You know. Anyway, so the Holy Spirit, Yahweh, and Son Ben Yahweh, they worked hard to bring about changes, and they conquered. They began to fight for the injustice in courts, for the blacks to have freedom, to enjoy God's beaches. They won. God and Son, naturally, since he, Yahweh, was God. And they opened up businesses in white districts where blacks were never allowed. But thanks to the Lord Yahweh, the Father, who personally participated, blacks could hold their heads up high and walk in pride into Yahweh's hotels, motels, restaurants, groceries in all white districts. And some black districts too, of course. So anyway, so the Lord Yahweh's Son, they were on the ball. So then all hell broke loose. There was the Prince of Darkness and his legions to try and put a stop to it by pinning murders on the Son, Ben Yahweh, and several others. The white and the Cuban and the Spanish realtors got in on it too. They got in on the war as well. They wanted the Lord Yahweh's million-dollar property, multi-million-dollar property, because they had grown from poverty to riches. So there was the Old Town International Realtors who wanted the Yahweh's newly remodeled facilities. Then there was the Real Property Care Realtors. They wanted in. They wanted the newly remodeled business buildings that the Yahwehs had refurbished. They did that hard work, renewing those buildings, the poor dears, the Yahweh men, mostly, with the Father, renewing those old slum buildings. And many, many other realtor agencies wanted in. They wanted in so bad, they were willing to cast lots. If you read Mark chapter 15, verse 24, they cast lots. That's what he's speaking of. So they wanted to get in on to be the realtors. They was buying up, Anyway, so the plot among city officials and realtors was in full gear to bring the Yahwehs down. It wasn't just Florida cops. Even though they did the worst, hurtful, heinous crimes ever, trying to behead, they were horrible. Anyway, so the very men who were supposed to serve and protect the people, yet they themselves turned killers for money. It was some of their men who pulled the hatchet and the machete out of their SWAT car to remove the head. Ah, um, well, you all know. I don't care to talk about that right now. Okay, so please follow me to the next. This is all I say.